Hello everybody, bienvenidos. So welcome. Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to this space, honey. Welcome to this environment. I am so excited to be recording a new video for you guys. I am so fucking excited. I'm so happy to be back, and in this video, if you're new, welcome. If you're new, welcome. My name is V, and in this video, this is the part 6 of my series of my celibacy journey. And if you don't know, I just launched my ebook, Initiation of a Goddess, Celibacy. If you're interested in this series, I talk about all of the journal prompts of this book and how they help me really create a new life for myself, literally. And in this part of this series, in the initiation of this series, I talk about the years and what I worked on during this phase. And now I'm just talking about different things that I have learned about celibacy throughout these journal prompts and throughout this journey that I have been on. I've been 4 years celibate. I am still celibate, and I think that a lot is about to change. So I want to really share all this information and all of the things that I learned, and my struggles, and you know, the benefit, the truth, the ugly of celibacy. So in this continuous journey, this is what we're gonna be talking about, and I'll be sharing with you guys as I go. So in this one, we're going to talk about how I practice celibacy. This is a video I wanted to do from the beginning because I'm not sure if there is a way of practicing celibacy. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do any research. I didn't even know that celibacy was a thing until I wanted to write my ebook, and I was like, wait, before I write my ebook, I have to know what I'm writing about. And then I come to find out that celibacy is actually a religious practice that is practiced in some religion and culture, and it's also something monks do. And there is so much information about celibacy, so I just came to the conclusion that for me personally, celibacy can be, it can vary to the person. Honestly, I don't want to make any rules or say this is, I'm just gonna share with you guys this about how this is how I done it, this is what I've been doing, but it is not something of like this is how it's supposed to be done, because I feel like the journey is different for everyone, and depending on what do you want to work on, what is your purpose for your celibacy journey, then it can change due to that. And I say this because to me personally, I've been 4 years celibacy, but this year, the 4th year, is the year where I started really dating and going out and being around masculine energy outside of my parents and my family. Like for the 3 years, I didn't talk with any guy. I didn't had any friendship connection to any men in my life, regardless of my family, of course, my dad, my brother, and tutors and teachers at school, male tutors and teachers. Those were the only interaction that I had with men. So I was in a complete isolation for like 3 years in regards of having any type of relationship with men, and until this year I really started dating. I'm still celibate, but I've went out and I've been in an environment where we're in a public place and I'm with another man. So this is the year that I really put myself through that, but for the first 3 years I didn't. So this year I feel like so much has changed, because now that when I started dating, and I started putting myself out there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I started attracting. And I talk about this in previous videos that I made about dating and celibacy. So if you're interested, the link will be in the bio, you can check it out. But let's continue on the topic of this video. So for this video, the way that I practice celibacy, as I mentioned, is, for me, it's on all levels. I do it on I did it in the first 3 years. I did it on an emotional, physical, and mental level. On an emotional level is that I didn't interact with any other men outside of my family members. That is emotional. Physical level, I didn't have any intimacy with any men, nada, like absolutely nothing, not even like nah, I wouldn't even see them. And that is physical. And mentally, I didn't, in the first few months I was struggling to detoxify myself mentally, because I would caught myself thinking about these fantasy and having fantasy in my head. And that was like the first few 6-9 months of celibacy. I talked about this in my first part of the series, where I actually created the journal prompts of this ebook because of this fantasy and falling for this temptation. Honestly, the mental part of celibacy is the hardest part, because it is like this, for me personally, it is like this deep conditioning on all levels. Like, because physically, like lifestyle prior to celibacy, I was physically active, I had entertainment, so you know, that emotional attachment that sometimes you can create with these men, and also the mental, because I had so many boyfriends I could create fantasies with. And during the years of my celibacy, I didn't have any physical, any emotional, but I still had the mental for entertainment. And that was the hardest part, to break that mental habit and pattern. Like, it's okay to have crushes and desires and wanting these things, but to me it was more on a addictive pattern behavior, and it came from something way more deeper than just this relationship, which was things like people pleasing and externalizing my value, and all of these topics that I talked about on previous video. So the whole playlist will be below, so you can inform yourself in that regards. But then for me, how I practice it is by being disciplined, and the discipline part is removing myself from any situation or circumstance where I could activate. That's why I ended up blocking and removing all of the men that I was talking with, all of the men that I was entertaining. And another thing that made it easy was moving abroad. Because I moved abroad, it was so easy for me not to go to their place or they come to me, because I moved abroad. Even though moving here, I still had like options here, and I had to block those options and let them know that they are not allowed to like come and visit me. Like, no, nada. And the discipline part is the part of like cleansing and separating myself, and that is when the journal prompts actually come in, because the journaling prompt helped me stay abstinent. The journaling prompt helped me stay separate from falling to that temptation, because of course you're gonna be tempted, you're gonna want to, you're really gonna want to be entertained and to talk with someone and to check with on and to see their story, to see their Instagram, to be about that drama with them. And every time that I will find myself thinking of that whole drama in my head mentally and start creating this exciting within me, I would go back to journaling and I would like, okay, read my journal prompts or start journaling again to really like stay away from this idea and to really focus on why am I doing this, what is my goal with this, what is my purpose with this. And so I want to say in this, now I'm ready to say this in this video, like I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I have been 4 years celibate, but in one of those years I had 2 moments that I really felt my temptations, and I would say like I broke my celibacy. And on one of these moments, it was the moment where I started doing a lot of womb work, and I started really like, I was journaling on all these men that I had relationship with and how I let corn and all these others ideas of how sex is supposed to be and desire and all these things. So when I was journaling deeply on these topics, I was also simultaneously creating a new relationship with my womb and my sensual desires. And because of this, I think it was 2022, I'm not sure, I think for that time I was like celibate for like from 2019 up. I had a few years, I had years in my pockets now, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And it wasn't a thing of like I'm ready, but it was more so, okay, no, wait. In the previous year that I was working on this womb work in 2022, I wanted to really, this desire just came up to me of really wanting to have relationship, but I wanted to have relationship on this new embodiment, on this, to have that for me, to fulfill my own pleasurable desires. And so my birthday gift celebration for myself for that year, for being celibate for 2 years, I had a relationship, and it was the best thing ever, because it felt like the decision didn't come from this place of scarcity or lack or fight and flight mode, like, you know, it came from a place of true desire and just genuine desire. And it was like me having relationship in a new, different way, because I don't know how to explain this, but prior to my celibacy, of course I had a relationship, but I wasn't as connected to my womb as I am right now. So the experience of that is completely different, because back then I would make the decision based on like surviving, you know, for exchange, like use it as an exchange, like give my body away in a sense of exchange. So it was never out, of course it was out of a place of desire because I wanted it, but it was more lust than desire. And it wasn't even lust, it was lust for the thing that I was receiving in giving what you know. And right now it was at the point of like, no, me receiving this pleasure, and it was truly magical. It was freaking magical. And that was my first time that I like broke my celibacy, and this was just a one-time thing, never happened again, never will. But then I had another moment where I felt my temptation, and that is another video for that topic, because in that experience was truly a lesson. It was truly a lesson, and I'm not there yet to talk about it, but we will get there. So how I practice celibacy is like how I've mentioned that from 2019 up until 2022, actually I was completely abstinent in all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically. I did have that one time thing that I just told you guys about, but then after that, no more. Like after that I just stayed celibate up until this point. I'm just the same. I didn't have anything. So that I really wanted to talk about is like is celibacy a religious practice? And I would say yes, because it's like a yes and no answer for me, but for me it's more yes than no, because I feel like you can practice celibacy without it being because of religion. I am not practicing celibacy because of religion. I am practicing celibacy for myself, and I am my own religion. And at the end of the day, the thing is that I personally exercise this in a way where I do rituals, journaling, I do fasting, I do womb massage, I do all these things. So at the end it almost like became a practice for me, because I do all these activity that help me stay disciplined within that practice. And the thing about religion is there is always 3 key elements to make something your religion. Is if you are doing it daily, because it then becomes your habit, becomes your practice. If you're doing it with certain purpose or a mission, and if you're disciplined about it, because when you're practicing a habit and doing whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be disciplined. And a religion is something, it's like a discipline, it's like a structure that helps people to you know, stay grounded, to believe in something. So you have some people that practice celibacy without, and that is also fine. Like some people practice celibacy, but on all levels. Like they don't even have pleasure activity, they don't connect physically, anything like that. So they are completely abstinent. But how I practice it is how I just told you guys. So for me it was more so on a healing and just reconnecting with myself on this level, because the fact is I am a lover. But I was before celibacy I was in being a flight or flight lover. Like I was being a lover in exchange of something. And now it's like I am a lover, but it's because I'm loving on myself. So yeah, now it's on a deeper level. So that was another thing that I really want to share about in regards to how I practice celibacy, because I personally feel like there's multiple ways for you to do it. You can practicing it by maybe taking a week break or 2 weeks break without, if you're someone that does that frequently or often, or you know, even if you're in a relationship, like you can take like these small breaks or whatever practice. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why I always felt like these type of practices of staying abstinent and fasting, I feel like there are things that we have to start adding into our daily life or into our routine, because it's easy to become addicted to these things. Like I noticed that it was so easy to become addicted to watching corn before you get into a sensual activity. And yeah, and honestly that is not necessary. And you can do that so often that subconsciously you become addicted to it, because all of these things are dopamine hits for our body, dopamine hits for our mind, our soul, on all these levels. So that is why I feel like sometimes fasting and abstinent is really good, like even if it's not in a way that it's like celibacy, but just even in your diet, or in things that you consume or do on a daily that you know that sometimes it's not good for you and you need a break. It's just like taking a vacation from work, or taking a 30 minutes break or an hour break after a 12-hour shift. No, that's exaggerating, but you get what I'm trying to say. So that is how I practice celibacy. And so for me it was just like a journey of, I practiced it, whatever it is that came through me to do, that is exactly what I did. That is how I practiced it. So during the first few years I didn't do any pleasure practice, none of it. But then in 2022 is really I start doing pleasure practices more for healing purposes or womb work purposes. And then yeah, I did what I did in 2022 as a gift for myself, because I've been like working on all of these deep conditioning. And then I had another experience, but that will be in the next video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something new in this video. And with this video I just want to also lastly say, like, however it is you choose to practice celibacy, it's okay, it's great, it's fine, you know. Like, I don't personally, this is my personal message, I don't feel like you have to practicing celibacy is not a punishment. It should be a fun and easy experience. And for me personally, that is how it's been, like a fun, pleasurable experience. Of course I had moments where I was like, oh my god, why am I doing this with myself? But that is why I created these journal prompts, to help me to stay disciplined, to stay focused. Because every time that you're trying to break out of a cycle, you have to push through. And I really wanted to break out of the cycle of the type of men that I was attracting, the relationship that I was in, how I the toxic patterns and cycles that I had created in regards of relationships. And I didn't want to experience that anymore. And that was like a 20-year cycle that I had to break, because it's a condition that started from my childhood, from all the way watching these telenovelas and growing up in a society where you see all this propaganda and all this information and message, and you think that that is how it's supposed to be because that's what you see or you grew up in, and it creates this feeling within you, you know, and you move forward in life with that. And I moved forward in life with all of those systems and all of those beliefs and all of those stories, and somehow it worked out in my favor, some of these things, but a lot of these things were not good for me at all. And when I hit that rock bottom of like, I'm tired of this is not the type of relationships that I want, this is not the lifestyle that I want, this is not what I want, I decided, let me stay celibate, let me become celibate and figure this out. And that is what I did throughout my celibacy journey. And that is how I practiced celibacy, actually. So it was like a flowing thing. It didn't have a plan. I didn't expect even to be celibate for 4 years. Like, it is so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me that I've been 4 years celibate. It doesn't even feel like it. But I am so grateful because I got the pleasure and the opportunity to learn about what I truly desire and what I truly want, and to also create these new ideas and visions and belief systems for myself that are not based on these experience and societies and all this propaganda. So I hope this video was helpful and touched a little bit upon how I practice celibacy, what I've learned throughout this practice. And yes, if you're interested, I have the whole link of the city will be below, and also my ebook will be available on teawithv.store. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.